Kung naalala nyo, be, siyempre, ilang beses natin napanood tuwing Holy buong buhay natin, napapanood natin tong Way of the Cross. Ito yung street kung saan binuhat ni Jesus yung kanyang cross. So medyo kinilabutan ako kanina. So ngayon, be, papunta naman tayo sa may Christian quarters. And from there, gagawin naman natin yung Way of the Cross or yung Via de la Rosa. So ito naman, be, yung way papunta doon sa may Dome of the Rock. Kaso, makakapasok ka lang dyan pag Muslim ka. So paano nila itetest? Itetest nila, tatanungin ka nila kung marunong ka mag-Arabic. At kung yung first, hindi ko sure, yung first verse ba? Ang tawag ba? First part, basta, sa Quran. Tatanungin ka nila about ng Arabic sa Quran. So pag hindi, okay, balik ka. Hindi ka mapapasukin.
At ngayon naman, be, ay papunta tayo sa Christian Quarter, isa sa 4 na bahagi ng Old City ng Jerusalem. At dito, be, matatagpuan ang karamihan sa mga pinakabanal na lugar para sa mga Kristiyano. Narito ang Church ng Holy Sepulchre na pinaniniwalaan na itinayo kung saan ipinako sa krus mismo si Jesus, kung saan siya nilibing at kung saan siya muling nabuhay. Dito rin, be, makikita yung Via Dolorosa o yung ruta na sinasabing dinaanan ni Jesus habang papunta sa pagpapako sa krus o yung 14 Stations of the Cross.
So ngayon, guys, naglalakad tayo papunta doon sa may Christian quarter. And ito, makikita nyo, buhay na yung mga alis nila dito or yung mga iskinita nila. Kasi, ang bongga naman pala ng mga bratinela natin dito. Ang dami din nila dito mga pagkain. Actually, mga tinapay. Ang dami rin nila dito mga juice. Pati yung luya.
Here what you see is what is like the balcony. The Via Dolorosa, the way of the suffering.
Ang Via Dolorosa o sa Latin ang ibig sabihin ay daan ng hapis ay isang sikat na ruta, be, dito sa Jerusalem. Pero kung iniisip nyo na itong lugar is yung eksaktong lugar sa panahon ni Jesus, be, 2,000 years na nakakalipas. Marami nang nagbago, hindi man ito yung eksaktong itsura nung panahon ni Jesus, ito pa rin yung lugar kung saan siya nagdusa habang pasan-pasan ang krus.
That's the way that is very famous in Jerusalem. The way that Jesus walked carrying the cross from the place of the judgment
Aha.
to the Golgotha hill. Before, from the bus, we saw 14 stations altogether. 9 of them are crossing the Muslim border. We're going to do them quite quickly, but the most important one are inside the church. Station number 1 was the Antonia Fortress, the place where Jesus was brought to be judged. This fortress doesn't exist many years ago. That's station number 1. Today there's a school there. Station number 2, the place where they put the crown of thorn on his head and the cross, and he start walking. 3, he fall with a cross for the first time. 4, his mother saw him for the first time after the judgment. And we are staying here, next to station number 5 of the Via Dolorosa, the place that's known where the Roman soldier that was walking with Jesus asked a person that was walking here to help Jesus to carry the cross. That's what's happened here. Simon from Kyrene, that's the name of the person. So you can see the name of the road, number 5. The symbol above the 2 hands is the Franciscan symbol of Jerusalem. The holy sites in Jerusalem was given to the responsibility of the Franciscans. So this is the Franciscan symbol, and above the hand you can see a different cross than what you used to know. That's known as the Cross of Jerusalem, representing one of the symbols is Jesus in the middle and the 4 Gospels on the corners. That's known as the Cross of Jerusalem. Most of the stations you're going to see closed chapels that are already closed 2 years, and here is Jesus' handprint. Put your hand.
So, kung naalala nyo, be, siyempre, ilang beses natin napanood tuwing Holy buong buhay natin, napapanood natin tong Way of the Cross. Ito yung street kung saan binuhat ni Jesus yung kanyang cross. So, medyo kinilabutan ako kanina nung narinig ko yun, actually. So, bilang Katoliko, be, sobrang kinilabutan talaga ako. Hanggang ngayon kinikilabutan ako. Na medyo emotional. Na medyo, kasi parang iba yung feeling. Na parang yung mga palabas na napapanood ng mga kwentong narinig mo sa misa. Diba? Ngayon parang I'm walking on the street to where Jesus Christ walk with His cross. So, andito tayo guys sa station number 6. So, ito yung part kung saan pinunasan ni Veronica ng towel or ng cloth, yung mukha ni Jesus, tapos dumikit yung image niya. Grabe, kinikilabutan ako. So, ngayon, be, is ito yung time na inalat nila para mag-shopping muna, bumili ng souvenir bago kayo pumunta sa simbahan para ma-bless daw yung mga items na bibilhin namin. And dito sa unahan, guys, meron parang Filipino store ata to kasi meron Filipino flag. Kaso di na ako papasok kasi baka mapabili ako. Minsan mahina din ako eh. Ito na guys, may bentahan na tayo.
At ito na nga, papunta na tayo dito sa loob ng Church of the Holy Sepulchre or Simbahan ng Banal na Libingan. So sa loob ng simbahan na ito, matatagpuan ang huling istasyon ng Via Dolorosa.
So, papasok na tayo guys dito sa simbahan. Ito yung end ng Via Dolorosa, yung tomb ni Jesus Christ.
Ito be ay isang malawak na basilika na pinagsasaluhan ng iba't ibang denominasyon ng Kristyanismo gaya ng Greek Orthodox, Roman Catholic, Armenian Church, Coptic Orthodox, Syriac Orthodox, Ethiopian Orthodox. At dahil hindi sila nagkakasundo-sundo, ang may hawak ng susi ng pintuan nito ay itong lalaki mismo at siya ay isang Muslim. Dito sinasabi ng tour guide namin kung gaano kami kaswerte dahil kadalasan pumipila daw ang mga tao dito ng oras para lang makita ang libingan ni Jesus Christ.
You don't know how lucky you are because usually there's a queue of hours getting here. we are getting into stay online. There's a queue of sometimes of hours, but now it's about a few minutes. So I won't finish to give you the background of the story of the church now. I will do it later. We're going to get in to what's known as Jesus' tomb. Jesus' tomb. According to the Catholic and to the Orthodox, this is the tomb. According to the Protestants, it's not here. It's on the Garden Tomb. You remember when we drove before the Damascus Gate? I asked you to remember a site that's known as the Garden Tomb. So the Protestants believe the Golgotha in the tomb is not here, it's there. But here, according to the Catholic and Orthodox, we are getting in to station number 14 of the Via Dolorosa. You remember we stop at 7, then we go to the store, I will complete 8 and 9, and from here we have 10 till 14. So we jumped already to the end, to the last station of the Via Dolorosa, Jesus' tomb. Inside here, no pictures and no video. Only here, these are the only places in the church. But the moment you step in, stop taking pictures and pictures.
Ang simbahang ito ay pinatayo ng Roman Emperor na si Constantine the Great pagkatapos madiskubre ng kanyang nanay na si Helen o si Saint Helena yung krus kung saan ipinako si Hesukristo. Pagpasok ko ba sa loob ng libingan ni Jesus, bigla akong kinalabutan. Halo-halong emosyon yung aking naramdaman. Naiiyak ako sa sobrang saya na nakarating ako dito. At taos puso yung aking pasasalamat. Parang nagdugtong-dugtong yung aking pananampalataya sa lugar na ito. Sa maiksing sandali ng aking pagpasok, may kakaibang kung ano ang nabuhay sa aking pananampalataya.
Jerusalem in a pilgrimage way from Europe to here. And on top of that hill, it was an open hill. She found a piece of an olive wood. And she's quite sure that the piece she found at that time, the 4th century, is part of the cross that Jesus was crucified on. But the church that we are seeing today, it's really empty today. It's totally different from the original. Totally different from the original. I will show you how originally it looked like. But from the 4th century till the 11th century, the church changed a few times. Originally, the church looked like that. A long church, a big one, and the entrance, it wasn't this door. It was a door from the main road of Jerusalem, the car door, that we're going to see later on. But since the 4th century, till the Crusaders entered Jerusalem in 15 July 1099. And since then, from the 11th century, not really much change. The main reason it didn't really change is that this church is divided among 6 Christian denominations. You saw the Greek Orthodox priest, the entrance here. They are also Armenian. Here is the Armenian part. There is Roman Catholic. They are Copt, Christian Egyptian. They are Syrian. And they are also Ethiopians. 6 Christians domination. Everyone have a piece of the church. What do you think the relationship among the 6? One church are divided to 6. They are not peaceful.
No.
Exactly the opposite. A lot of fightings and arguments and not a love story, let's say like that. That's why it was necessary to arrange, to fix the relationship among them by a status quo agreement. I already told you about the status quo agreement on the Temple Mountain, but there is another one here. And the status quo agreement says any of the 6 are allowed to do any changes in the church unless all accept. As they never accept, nothing really changed from the 4th century. What you're seeing here, the works that are done here, the tracks, the works that are done here, I can tell you that 5 years ago, during the COVID time, they finally agreed, all the six, to renew the floor of the church. And again, because the relationship among them are very, very, very sensitive, they give the key to others. Two Muslim families have the key to the church. One of the most important churches in the world are not held by Christians, are held by Muslims.
This one.
This one.
This is 1,000 years old, this church?
Yes.
Wow.
This mosaic is 1,000 years
Yes. From the
Wow.
Crusaders. And he have the key. This person
Has
have
the
the
key.
key to the door. He's opening the door very, very early in the morning, closing at 8 o'clock in the evening, and everybody happy. No fights. The Muslims are very happy to have the key. They have the honor to have the key. The Muslims are okay. They are not fighting. And the Israeli government said, if you are happy,
We are
I am
happy.
happy.
That's his job, to open the door every day? Close it every day? That's his job.
Before getting I told you all the time that the Armenians have a part of the church, and they have also an Armenian quarter.
Hmm.
Why? Why not Philippine quarters? Why Armenian? Why not Japanese quarter? Why Armenian? What is the answer? The answer is that the Armenian was the first Christians. That's the first nation to adopt the Christianity in the 4th century. And they came to the Holy Land and got a piece of the city to them. So they are here from the 4th century. They have piece of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre too. You had been in the second one place. They're also part of the Nativity Church that belongs to them. That the Armenian was the first Christians, the first nation to adopt the Christianity. That's why they're a part here and part of Jerusalem and part of the Nativity Church in Bethlehem. You remember at the time we walked on the Via del Rosa, we stopped at station number 7, then we take left, and we go to the shop and come to here. So here are station 10 till 14. Between 7 and 10
Eight,
are
nine.
8 and 9. 8 was the gate of the city. Through that gate, he was taking out to here. Remember, he walked from the Lion's Gate to here. This gate doesn't exist anymore. There's no gate. And station number 9 is the place where he falls for the third time. Third time. Here we have again 10 till 14. We're going to go and see it immediately. You can look this mosaic wall. You can see on the right side of the wall that the body are taking down the cross, and then it's laid on a marble stone,
Oh, this is the marble stone?
this is the anointing stone. That's why we stopped the store before. If somebody feels that he want to bless something he bought, he can put it on that stone. He could put it on the Jesus tomb. And then you can see the body are taken to the cave. Again, remember that it was an open hill on one side of it. That was what we had just had been. The monument, the church was built so many after. But at Jesus' time, it was an open hill out. Station number 11. You won't see the numbers as we saw on the way to here. Station number 11, known as the place he was put on the cross. He was nailed to the cross.
Oh.
Nailing Jesus to the cross. Station number 12 is there. There. That's the place actually where the cross was stacked on the Golgotha Hill. You can see this. Left some original rocks. It's Golgotha Hill. And people, you can go there and put your hand into this hole where the cross was stacked, known as station number 12. Again, owned by the Greek Orthodox. The Greek Orthodox have the best parts. here, and 2.
So, ito naman ba yung station number 12 kung saan ipinako si Jesus. Ito dito yung exact daw na pwesto ng krus kung saan siya pinako. Kinikilabutan ako, be. Ay naman yung be, yung marble na yan, dyan sabing hiniga si Jesus after siyang ipako sa krus. Kasi sabi nila na kung meron kang biniling souvenir, dapat mong ilagay yan dito sa marble bed para ma-bless daw.
For the Holy Sepulchre, you all the time see this picture with this window and leather. Let me tell you, behind these windows is the Armenian part. He was very lucky. It's the Armenian part. That behind the window is the Armenian part. Even today, there's about 20 priests that are sleeping, having overnight in the church. One of the Armenian priests that have overnight there wanted to get a fresh air by the small balcony. You see, there's a next to there, there's a small balcony. One of the Armenian priests wanted to have fresh air, so he had to get down. He wanted to get down to this balcony. He had to move the ladder a little bit to be able to get down to this balcony. The other stopped him. Hey. Remember, status quo. You're not allowed to move anything. So the ladder is there. Since then, if it's true or not, I don't know. But it's a legend that is around this ladder. The original one, 250 years ago.
So, be, ulitin ko, dito na tayo sa may Jewish quarter. Ayan. Medyo happy dito ha, in fairness yung vibe. So itong mga pillars ba na nakikita nyo sa likod ko, mula nung unang panahon pa yan, like 16 years silang naghukay dito para makita nila itong mga natabunan ng lupa dati. Kasi kung matatandaan niyo itong area na to, mula nung sinimula ng video natin, no, hanggang ngayon, dating part to ng Jordan until 1960s. So, now it's part of Israel. And dali natin iwan ako. Itong Jewish quarter, be, hindi lang to basta isang museum or religious site, but neighborhood, Bisaya talaga, neighborhood din. May mga nakatira talaga dito.
Here, they put a replica of a mosaic floor that was found in Jordan, in a city that's called Madaba in Jordan, that described Jerusalem at that time, in the 5th century.
Tunay nga na isang kakaibang tour ang pagbisita ko dito sa Jerusalem. Nadama ko yung pagiging holy o banal nito at namula talaga ang aking mga mata sa mas malalim na pag-intindi sa pinagsamang kasaysayan ng rehiyon na ito at sa aking mas malalim na pananampalataya. Noong 1941 to 1945 sa pamumuno ni Adolf Hitler, 6 na milyong Hudyo ang sistematikong pinatay ng grupong Nazi. Naniniwala sila na ang kanilang lahi ay superior na katataas sa lipunan. Para sa kanila, mabababang uri ng nilalang ang mga Hudyo. At pagkatapos ng World War I, sinisi sa kanila ang pagkatalo ng Germany, ang pagbagsak ng kanilang ekonomiya at ang paglaganap ng komunismo at ng kapitalismo.
So ngayon be, andito na tayo sa last part ng aming tour. So pupunta na tayo ngayon dito sa Holocaust Museum. So hindi ko na alam kung mablog pa to ng buong buo dito, pero ikakwento ko sa inyo kung ano yung makikita at may experience ko sa loob. And actually, alam ko sobrang lungkot to kasi nakarating ako ng Holocaust Museum sa Berlin and it's gonna be my second time. And I know, sobrang matatouch naman yung puso ko nito. So, I'll see you guys later.
Ang Yad Vashem ay nangangahulugan sa Hebrew na isang monumento at isang pangalan. Ito ang pambansang institusyon ng Israel na nakatuon sa pag-alala sa 6 na milyong Hudyo na pinaslang noong Holocaust. At sa loob nito, mararamdaman mo sa loob ang hirap ng bawat biktima sa genocide na ito. May mga larawan at mga kwento dito na nagpapaalala ng kalupitan na kanilang dinanas sa panahon ng Nazi.
So tulad nga ng ini-expect ko, pagpasok talaga dito, grabe rin yung pangingilabot na naramdaman ko habang binabasa ko yung mga kwento and yung mga diaries and journal ng mga nabiktima ng Holocaust. Grabe, parang it's my second time, 'di ba? Una ko nung na-experience yung ganito sa Berlin, tapos ngayon dito.
Dito be, bilang pasasalamat nila sa mga taong tumulong, sa mga Jews, sa mga biktima ng persecution, ng Holocaust. Pinangalan nila yung ibang mga puno dito sa mga tao, kahit hindi mga Jews, kahit hindi rin mga Israelis, merong mga French, Swedish, and everyone na tumulong sa kanila, kinikilala nila na nakapag-save ng libo-libong buhay. It's their way para maalala nila na itong tao na to, itong puno na to, simbolo na marami siyang niligtas na buhay. Actually, for today's video, sobrang dami ko natutunan. Umpisa sa mga Jewish culture na hindi ko naman alam. Pero curious ako, like yung pagsuot nila ng kippah. Sabi nila, it separates them from God. And it's an identity for them. Na parang pag nakakippah, they're Jewish. And, yung pagkakaroon nila ng mga buhok dito, sabi nila, it's a direct interpretation from the Old Testament ng Bible na dapat ang lalaki daw hindi raw nagugupit ng buhok from this bone, ito sa may cheekbone natin, kinikip nila yan, and yung style na yon differs from community to community. May community sobrang haba, mayroong maiksi, mayroong curly, depende raw yan sa per community. So parang sabi ko, wow, ang dami, super, parang pag deep dive ka sa information dito, parang super interesting actually. Ako interested kasi ako sa culture, sa religion, ganyan. Gusto ko malaman, 'di ba? Kasi doon ako natututo, doon ako nagkakaroon understanding, and that's how I'm able to connect with a lot of people. So ngayon, dahil kapadaldal dito, punta na tayo sa Children's Memorial.
Alam ko may nag-comment dyan. Sabi niya, Francis, next time dali mo naman dyan yung nanay mo. Actually, gusto kong dalhin yung mama ko. Pero guys, help. Please, subscribe. Share this video para madala natin si mama dito soon sa Qatar, sa Israel. Grabe sa loob eh. Mararamdaman mo yung ang bigat na binabanggit yung pangalan at yung edad ng mga batang namatay. Sobrang, ewan ko, ang bigat. Hindi ko kaya. Naawa. Parang basta yung element pa na madilim tapos parang may optical illusion ng sobrang daming liwanag. Grabe.
Mula sa paghihirap ni Jesus sa pagpasa ng krus hanggang sa sugat ng kasaysayan sa Holocaust at hanggang sa tensyon na patuloy pa rin nangyayari sa Middle East, paulit-ulit tayong pinaaalalahanan na ang kapayapaan, pag-unawa at pakikipagkapwa ay ang mga mahalagang bagay na hindi dapat mawala sa ating mundo.
Hi there! It's me, Francis Candier!
And Kay Toretto.
Samahan nyo kami dahil magta-travel kami together ni Kay Toretto sa Pakistan.
And we need joiners. No more planning and less hassle kasi kami na ang bahala sa itinerary nyo
Kami nang bahala sa'yo. We know how to navigate
and interact with the locals.
and we are here to make it fun, memorable, and smooth for you.
We designed this trip para sa mga gustong makasamang makatravel kami.
At ma-explore at ma-experience ang beauty and culture ng Pakistan. Pwedeng sumama ang group of friends, solo travelers, lovers, or partners.
Huy! Mag-message na dali at limited slots lang ang makakasama namin ni Francis Candier.
Tara na! Travel with me, Francis Candier!
And Kay Toretto, let's explore the magic of Pakistan.